Hi everyone, Grace Ambrook here, and I wanted to really open up 2026 energies with a couple of patterns from last year and possibilities for this year. So, in the themes that lots of people were shifting last year was understanding your relationship with your community and the ability to operate from impulse, from connection rather than obligation. So moving out of the very heavy programming of if I do this, I'll get that. Whereas impulse into action is a completely different, even a different reality, and much more, of course, of a consciousness-based way, and of course, where all the success codes of people live. And last year and this year, there will be brick walls that we all experience, and every brick wall is an outgrown way of being. Right? They're not failures, they're not blocks. It's just showing you where the old systems, the old identities, and a way of being simply no longer resonate with you. And so these are road signs for you, right? When you hit a brick wall. And you can simply ask, should I turn left or should I turn right? This is why following the impulse creates a completely different energy. One of the other things actually that I'm working with, particularly in a group program starting January the 15th called Your Sovereignty, is, and I did quite a bit of work with sovereignty last year. And again, one of the things that became very obvious is how averse and adverse people are to actually the very transformative energy of commanding and claiming um, and collecting. And so there's such a misinterpretation of actually what commanding energy is. It's like it's aggressive, it's, up yourself and all that sort of stuff. So, and trust me, if you're doing sovereignty and you don't understand what commanding is, and how out of control, it's not a control mechanism, I can tell you that. It's actually truly a conscious activation. Your commandment is a conscious activation of things in this reality. And so if you are working with sovereignty, you cannot be sovereign without the command, claim, and collect energy. And so, and something I've been working with for actually quite some time, which is really helpful for a lot of people, is trying to move out of balancing things. So we don't have, work-life balance. We have work-life harmony. Because if you think about harmony, it means things have to be equal, right? Well, good luck with that in this crazy, crazy world that's changing. How do you have things equal? But harmony, of course, actually accommodates the difference. And in fact, it is the difference that makes the harmony. So it's bringing things together. So this energy of bringing things together, and particularly the power and the sovereignty and the commanding in harmony, not trying to balance it with other commitments in your world. The other thing that's clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer is that clarity, which is still something that a lot of people are seeking. It's a little bit misdirected, but for the sake of this recording, the true clarity comes from vibration and frequency, not from your vision. And so there's particular techniques that I share with people around the clarity of frequency that makes the visions and the implementation a completely different experience from trying to see what is best for you. And of course, it's not new, but the other reality or aspect of reality that's changed dramatically is the use of anchoring and anchoring the energetic clarity. And there are, again, lots of energies in which we anchor that are completely different from in previous decades. Perhaps the last thing I want to mention in today's sharing is the opportunity to move out of if this, then that conditioning. I call it conditional living. As long as I have this, then I can do that. When the kids have left school, then I will. When there's more money in the bank, then we'll have a look at. So all of this is conditional living. And when you're living in conditions, you're taking choice out of the equation. And choice is one of our greatest gifts and our greatest tools when utilized correctly. And the frequency of your choices, or the frequency with which you implement your choices, is part of the anchoring. And I would encourage you to look for if this, then that conditioning living. This is very old wiring, right? Very old wiring. What about if you had the capacity and allowed yourself to actually be impulsed via the universe, via source? If you are an impulsed being, and as opposed to, oh, I can't have this until that, can you feel immediately the completely different inspiration in all of that, and all the freedom? It's freedom-based actions. And it's certainly inspired-led rather than disciplined-led. Mind you, discipline, of course, has its absolute place in this world. So the impulses also, again, the impulses are really where your inspiration, it's like there's a connectivity there that is indisputable and will carry you to the reality of your choosing if you have the gumption and the sovereignty to actually implement. Wishing you all the best. Speak soon. Bye for now.